So what is your name?
James.
You're James. And what do you do, James?
I travel around like collecting herbs and writing and stuff like that.
Okay. And are we alone, James?
I don't think so, no.
Why don't you think we're alone?
Uh, 'Cause things just exist, like we can't explain them, and I guess that's why I look at it kind of like either way it's mathematics, like so I don't think we're alone on any point, on any level, spiritually, esoterically, physically, mentally, spiritually, cosmically.
So when you say you're not alone, that means you think there are other living things that have brains that kind of think like humans?
I don't necessarily know if they have brains. I think like that's more of a scientific like kind of like archaic approach to specify like some type of living organism. I don't think they have like a consciousness like us. Like if they are outer worldly, I think they're beyond having like a brain.
All right, so most people, when I ask them the question, "Are we alone?" they think about some organic things that evolved, using, I guess, according to Darwinian evolution, on another planet, Earth-like planet, and then got smart, then produced radio telescopes and spaceships, and then came to Earth. How does that correspond with what you have just
I don't.
described?
Once again, I think it's like easier to like just describe something with like technology, or because people are into sci-fi. It's kind of one of those candy-coated type sugar coatings where people could easily accept certain ideologies or thoughts.
I'm confused there.
Like if you try to describe something as something that's more of a societal norm, it's more easier for someone to accept it as like whatever it is versus having what it really is, which is undescribable.
So you have felt and seen and heard something that's
I
undescribable.
mean, I think people have. I mean, think about it as far as like when we think about the Crusades and Christian wars. Like, obviously, all these people that originally started these feelings or these vibrations obviously felt something. So, on a greater scheme of things, there is a thing that lives up there. History's full. The world is full of history that says we do this shit because there's this thing called God, or there's this fucking thing that runs over us, and I'm just a puppet, and I read from a teleprompter because I'm a president. So whoever is like really writing this stuff is the people that we should be looking for. But yet they get mad at people like Trump when he's just a motherfucker reading the shit on the teleprompter. So where are these entities coming from that actually control all these things?
So let me get this straight. So you think there's some kind of, you could call it, for lack of other word, God, who then communicates with the writers of the teleprompters?
Yeah, just like nowadays it's teleprompters and now it's been perverted, but back in the day it was like some type of like being came out of some type of light source, whether it was somebody burning in a bush or out of a lamp or whatever, or if it came as as the Vedics talk about this fiery freaking mass out of the sky. Like there's definitely something out there.
And when I say, are we alone? So you essentially you have a feeling or vision of something that most people would call God. And when I ask you, are we alone? You say we're not alone because of this godlike entity.
Yeah, exactly. But I wouldn't call it God. I just think it's like, um, it's just easier for people to like have it like that, and they forgot like how to look beyond that. So they get stuck at what this God thing happens, and I believe that's why a lot of like frequencies been off, because people have gotten spiritually lazy, basically.
Now, have you ever seen an alien?
I've seen some pretty weird things. I really wouldn't describe them once again as aliens because I've never seen anything other than the vessels and the vehicles that they had. But
So
I've
you
never
saw
seen.
some vessels and vehicles.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, there was this time I was at a gem show in Tucson, Arizona, at the Rock and Gem show that happens around January-ish there. And one day uh, there was like just these aliens, these UFOs that definitely flew over. And I was like in shock, and other people saw it because I just pointed. It was such a shocking thing that I just pointed up, and other people saw. It was like one of those things like, what are you pointing at? And we saw, and then there was like some military jets following in pursuit of those things. It could have been a military operation, I mean, because people disputed, well, maybe it's just military escort, blah, 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 but I think it was deeper. Once again, it's a military escort, easier to digest versus, yeah, there's people that come here and visit shit.
And have you ever been abducted by aliens?
I wouldn't say abducted, but I've definitely had like an interaction. It was just like one of these things that happened that I know that wasn't a dream.
Like what? What happened?
Well, when I was a kid, and it kind of freaked my mom out too, but I woke up from it. But in the dream, I just remember this kind of light and this thing kind of messing with my nose a little bit. And I was like, hey, you're gonna be all right, like, don't worry.
A thing was messing with your nose.
Yeah, it was like some type of doctor-like thing, but I couldn't see their faces as the light was like really hella bright. And like I thought it was a dream. Because so I guess like, you know, through later research I found that sometimes like it's easier to like control the aliens, just to control like a person. They use like a form of telepathy or hypnosis to like totally make the person inert, where like they're like aware of what's going on, but like it's like the best way that you could describe it is that like sheer like waking panic, or that like fucking sleep paralysis where you have something so scary where you're like trying to scream for like your loved one or whatever, but it's like nothing's coming out type of.
And that happened
feeling.
to you?
Yeah, it happened to me.
And you think an alien was responsible for it?
No, I know that they were, because what happened was like I like woke up from the dream, but I kind of remember it's like you're gonna like live life differently. It's like all like that I heard last, but then my pillow was full of blood. There was like blood all over the pillow. Of course, I'm like waking up with that last image, like you're gonna live life differently. My mom coming there freaking out. And it was just a weird experience. It was a weird experience, and I know like it was more than just a dream, because like there's no way that I would have had a bloody nose if it was a dream.